The sun was setting over downtown Los Angeles when NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made a decision that would change not just his perspective, but the lives of many others. Despite his towering height of 7 feet 1 inch, Shaq was determined to understand the struggles of the homeless community firsthand. With the help of a skilled makeup artist and some carefully selected worn-out clothes, the basketball icon transformed himself into an unrecognizable figure. As he walked through the bustling streets, the same people who would normally scramble for his autograph now hurried past, avoiding eye contact. The transformation was startling, not just in his appearance, but in how the world responded to him. He sat on a piece of cardboard near a busy coffee shop, his large frame hunched over, holding a small sign asking for help. Hour after hour passed, and the reality of invisibility set in. Business people in crisp suits walked by, their eyes glued to their phones. A group of teenagers laughed nearby, pretending not to notice his presence. The cold concrete beneath him served as a harsh reminder of the daily struggles faced by those without homes. But then, something unexpected happened. A young street vendor selling hot dogs approached him. Despite barely making ends meet himself, the vendor offered Shaq a free meal. "Everyone deserves to eat," he said simply, not knowing he was speaking to a millionaire athlete. The genuine kindness brought tears to Shaq's eyes, hidden beneath his disguise. As the day progressed, more stories of unexpected kindness emerged. An elderly woman with a walker stopped and shared half of her sandwich. A small business owner invited him into his shop to escape the afternoon heat, offering a bottle of water and a chance to rest. These moments of humanity stood in stark contrast to the indifference he'd experienced earlier. The experiment took an even more powerful turn when a homeless man approached Shaq and sat beside him. The man, who introduced himself as Ray, shared his own story of losing everything after a medical emergency drained his savings. Despite having nothing himself, Ray offered to show Shaq where to find the safest sleeping spots and which shelters had the best services. As evening approached, a group of college students stopped. Instead of just offering money, they sat down and listened to the stories Shaq had crafted as part of his disguise. Their genuine interest and compassion showed that sometimes, the greatest gift is simply acknowledging someone's humanity and dignity. When the sun finally set, Shaq stood up, his muscles aching from sitting on the hard ground all day. He gathered a small group of those who had shown him kindness: the hot dog vendor, the elderly woman, Ray, the shop owner, and the students. With cameras rolling, he revealed his true identity, but the real revelation wasn't who he was, it was what he had learned. Overcome with emotion, Shaq announced his plan to create a new foundation focused on homeless outreach, inspired by the day's events. He offered immediate help to Ray, setting him up with housing and job training. The hot dog vendor received a new, fully equipped food truck, and the shop owner's small business got a significant investment. The experience had shown him that while poverty and homelessness were complex issues, simple acts of kindness could make a profound difference. It wasn't just about giving money or resources, it was about recognizing the humanity in every person, regardless of their circumstances. In the days that followed, Shaq's experiment went viral, but not for the reasons one might expect. It wasn't the celebrity revelation that touched people's hearts, it was the authentic displays of compassion from everyday people who had no idea they were being filmed. Their genuine kindness, shown without expectation of reward or recognition, demonstrated the best of humanity. The story became a catalyst for change in Los Angeles and beyond. Communities began looking at homelessness differently, seeing not just statistics but individual stories deserving of dignity and support. Shaq's foundation partnered with local organizations, creating programs that combined immediate assistance with long-term solutions. The experiment had started as a simple disguise but ended up revealing profound truths about human nature. It showed that even in our most divided times, compassion could bridge any gap, and that sometimes the people with the least to give were the ones most willing to share. The message was clear: everyone, regardless of their situation, deserved to be seen, heard, and treated with dignity. The impact of Shaq's homeless experiment rippled through social media like wildfire, but the real story was unfolding behind the scenes. In the weeks following his eye-opening experience, the basketball legend couldn't shake off the memories of that day, particularly the conversation with Ray, the homeless man who had shown him such kindness despite having nothing himself. Determined to create lasting change, Shaq began making regular visits to the streets, this time as himself. He discovered that Ray's story was just one thread in a complex tapestry of human experiences. There was the former teacher who lost everything caring for her sick mother, the veteran struggling with PTSD, and countless others whose lives had taken unexpected turns. The hot dog vendor's new food truck became a symbol of hope in the community. Instead of just selling food, he started a pay-it-forward system where customers could buy extra meals for those who couldn't afford them. The simple cart had transformed into a gathering place where people from all walks of life came together, sharing not just food but stories and support. Shaq's foundation partnered with local businesses to create job training programs. The shop owner who had offered him water and shelter during his experiment became one of the first to join the initiative. He started teaching business skills to people trying to rebuild their lives, proving that sometimes the smallest act of kindness could spark a chain reaction of positive change. The college students who had taken the time to listen that day started a campus movement. They organized regular outreach programs, collecting not just supplies but also stories. They understood that behind every homeless person was a unique story waiting to be heard, a lesson they had learned from their unexpected encounter with a disguised NBA star. Word of these changes spread, attracting attention from other cities facing similar challenges. Local officials began visiting Los Angeles to study the impact of what they called the Shaq effect, the idea that treating homeless individuals with dignity and providing opportunities rather than just handouts could lead to meaningful, lasting change. The elderly woman who had shared her sandwich became an unexpected hero in her own right. Despite living on a fixed income, she continued to share what little she had. Her story inspired a network of senior citizens to start a food-sharing program, proving that age was no barrier to making a difference in the community. Ray's transformation became a powerful testimony to the program's success. With stable housing and job training provided by Shaq's foundation, he not only rebuilt his own life but became a mentor to others facing similar struggles. His experience as both a recipient and provider of help gave him unique insight into what people really needed to get back on their feet. The foundation's approach was different from traditional charitable organizations. Instead of creating dependency, it focused on building independence. People weren't just given help, they were given opportunities to help others, creating a continuous cycle of support and empowerment within the community. Local restaurants and businesses joined the movement, offering apprenticeships and job opportunities. The same streets where Shaq had once sat unrecognized became corridors of opportunity, with former homeless individuals now working in cafes, shops, and offices, their lives transformed by the simple belief that everyone deserves a second chance. The most powerful change wasn't in the numbers, though those were impressive, but in the shift in perspective. People began to understand that homelessness wasn't a permanent state but a temporary circumstance that anyone could face. This understanding led to more compassionate policies and community support systems. As the one-month mark of his experiment approached, Shaq organized a community dinner that brought together everyone involved in the movement. The hot dog vendor served gourmet meals from his new food truck, while Ray shared his story of transformation. The elderly woman sat with the college students, all of them now connected by their shared commitment to making a difference. Looking around the room, Shaq realized that his simple experiment had evolved into something far more significant than he had imagined. It wasn't just about helping the homeless, it was about rebuilding the connections that make a community strong. The real success wasn't measured in dollars spent or people housed, but in the restored dignity and hope that now filled the streets of Los Angeles. The success of Shaq's initiative caught the attention of city officials and business leaders across the country. One morning, as he walked through the transformed downtown area, he received a call that would take his mission to an entirely new level. A group of professional athletes had seen the impact of his experiment and wanted to replicate it in their own cities. The movement was growing beyond anything Shaq had imagined. A tech entrepreneur who had watched the viral video of his experiment approached him with an innovative idea. Together, they developed a mobile app that connected homeless individuals with immediate resources, job opportunities, and support services. The app, called Street Connect, became a digital lifeline for those trying to rebuild their lives. Ray, now fully employed and housed, took on a leadership role in training others to use the app. His first-hand experience made him the perfect ambassador for the program. Technology isn't just for the wealthy, he would say during training sessions. It's a tool that can lift people up when used with compassion. His words carried weight because everyone knew his story. They had seen him transform from someone sleeping on the streets to a respected community leader. The hot dog vendor's food truck had evolved into a small fleet of mobile kitchens, each operated by formerly homeless individuals who had completed the foundation's culinary training program. These trucks didn't just serve food, they served as rolling success stories, inspiring others to believe in the possibility of change. The elderly woman who had shared her sandwich with Shaq that first day became the cornerstone of a unique mentorship program. She paired senior citizens living alone with homeless individuals, creating unexpected friendships that benefited both groups. The seniors got companionship and help with daily tasks, while their homeless partners received stable housing and a chance to contribute meaningfully to someone's life. The shop owner who had offered Shaq shelter expanded his business model to include a training center in his back room. Every afternoon, the space transformed into a classroom where people learned everything from basic computer skills to small business management. His simple act of kindness had grown into a sustainable model for community empowerment. The College Students Initiative spread to universities nationwide. They created a network called Campus Compass, which connected homeless individuals with educational opportunities. Many who had never imagined attending college found themselves sitting in classrooms, their lives taking unexpected turns toward new possibilities. Shaq's foundation started documenting these success stories, not for publicity, but to create a blueprint for other cities to follow. The videos showed real people sharing real experiences, their honesty and emotion touching viewers in ways that statistics and formal presentations never could. One particularly powerful story featured a former business executive who had lost everything to addiction. Through the Foundation's program, he not only recovered but began teaching financial literacy classes to others in the program. His students included both homeless individuals and young professionals, breaking down social barriers and proving that everyone had something to learn and something to teach. The Foundation's approach to rehabilitation became known as the Dignity Model. Instead of treating homelessness as a problem to be solved, they treated it as a temporary situation that could happen to anyone. This shift in perspective helped remove the stigma that often prevented people from seeking help. Local businesses began to see the value in this approach. A coffee shop chain started a barista training program specifically for program participants. A construction company created apprenticeships. A tech firm offered coding boot camps. Each success story made it easier to convince other businesses to join the initiative. The city's shelters underwent a transformation as well. Instead of just providing beds, they became comprehensive resource centers. The walls were painted with bright murals, many created by program participants who discovered artistic talents they never knew they had. The spaces felt less like institutions and more like community centers, places where dignity and hope could flourish. 1 year after his initial experiment, Shaq organized a celebration in the same spot where he had sat disguised as a homeless person. The street was unrecognizable, not because of physical changes, but because of the spirit of community that now filled it. The hot dog carts were there, serving gourmet meals. The shop windows displayed artwork created by program participants. The college students mingled with business leaders, all united in their commitment to continuing the work they had started. As the sun set on the celebration, Shaq stood back and watched the scene unfold. He saw Ray mentoring a newcomer to the program, the elderly woman sharing stories with a group of young volunteers, and the shop owner teaching an impromptu business lesson to anyone who would listen. The simple experiment that had started with a disguise had revealed something profound, that the solution to homelessness wasn't just about providing resources, but about rebuilding the connections that make us human. The impact of Shaq's homeless experiment had spread far beyond Los Angeles, but it was the unexpected ripple effects that truly showed the power of compassion. One morning, while visiting a newly opened resource center, Shaq met a young boy who changed his perspective once again. The child had been living in a shelter with his mother for 6 months, but instead of being defeated by their circumstances, he had started a small library in the shelter's common room. This 9-year-old boy had noticed that many shelter residents felt disconnected from the world, so he began collecting books from local donations. He organized them on makeshift shelves made from cardboard boxes, creating a cozy reading corner where people could escape their troubles for a few hours. When Shaq saw this, he realized that even the smallest members of the community had the power to create meaningful change. Inspired by the boys' initiative, Shaq's foundation launched a literacy program that quickly spread throughout the shelter system. They transformed unused spaces into reading rooms, complete with comfortable chairs, good lighting, and walls lined with books. But these weren't just libraries, they became community gathering spaces where people could share stories, learn new skills, and rebuild their sense of self-worth. The hot dog vendor, whose food truck business had become a citywide success, started parking near these reading rooms during meal times. He noticed that people were more likely to open up and share their stories over a warm meal in a comfortable setting. His trucks became known as rolling conversation starters, where people from all walks of life could connect over food and discussion. Ray, who had become a respected leader in the program, started a storytelling initiative. Every week, he invited people to share their experiences, not just stories of hardship, but tales of triumph, hope, and unexpected kindness. These sessions became so popular that local radio stations began broadcasting them, helping to change public perceptions about homelessness one story at a time. The elderly woman who had first shown kindness to Shaq discovered that many shelter residents had professional skills they couldn't use without proper certification or equipment. She worked with the foundation to create a tool-lending library, where people could borrow everything from laptops to construction tools. This simple idea helped many individuals restart their careers or learn new trades. The shop owner's training center expanded to include a small business incubator. People who completed the basic business courses could apply for microgrants to start their own enterprises. One success story was a former accountant who had lost everything in a health crisis. Through the program, she started a mobile bookkeeping service for small businesses, eventually hiring other program participants as her company grew. The College Students' Campus Compass program evolved to include distance learning options. They set up computer stations in shelters where people could take online courses from leading universities. The program caught the attention of several tech companies, who donated equipment and provided technical training. Soon, shelter residents were not just learning new skills, they were teaching them to others. A turning point came when a major corporation announced they would prioritize hiring program graduates. This sparked a trend among other businesses, who began to see the value in giving people second chances. The foundation worked with these companies to create flexible schedules and support systems that helped new employees succeed in their roles. The Street Connect app continued to evolve based on user feedback. They added features like skill sharing, where users could offer their expertise in exchange for help they needed. A former teacher living in a shelter could offer tutoring services, while receiving help with resume writing from another user. This system of mutual aid strengthened community bonds and helped people maintain their dignity while getting back on their feet. The transformation of the shelter system continued with the addition of wellness centers. These spaces offered everything from basic healthcare to meditation classes, addressing both physical and mental well-being. The foundation partnered with healthcare providers who volunteered their services, creating a comprehensive approach to recovery and stability. One of the most successful initiatives was the Future Fund, where program participants could save money while receiving matching contributions from corporate sponsors. This helped people build financial security while learning money management skills. The program's success rate was remarkable. Over 80% of participants were able to maintain stable housing after 6 months. Shaq's regular visits to these programs weren't just about oversight, they were about connection. He listened to people's stories, celebrated their successes, and learned from their experiences. Each visit reinforced his belief that homelessness wasn't just about lacking shelter, it was about losing connection to community, purpose, and hope. The foundation's work attracted attention from international organizations studying innovative approaches to social issues. They were particularly interested in how the program maintained human dignity while providing practical assistance. The dignity model was being studied as a potential solution for communities around the world. As the program continued to grow, Shaq never forgot the lessons he learned during his day in disguise. He kept the worn clothes he had worn, displaying them in the foundation's main office as a reminder that sometimes you have to walk in someone else's shoes to truly understand their journey. The display included the cardboard sign he had held, now framed alongside photos of successful program graduates, a powerful symbol of transformation and hope. The story of Shaq's homeless experiment took an unexpected turn when a documentary filmmaker approached the foundation with an idea. Instead of focusing on celebrities or success stories, she wanted to capture the daily moments of transformation happening in the community. With Shaq's blessing, she began documenting the small miracles that often went unnoticed. Her cameras captured the moment when a former engineer, who had been living in his car for 8 months, landed his first consulting contract through the foundation's business network. The raw emotion in his eyes as he signed the paperwork spoke volumes about the impact of second chances. But what touched viewers most was watching him return to the shelter that evening to help others prepare for their job interviews. The hot dog vendor's food truck empire had grown into a social enterprise that did more than serve meals. His trucks now featured digital screens displaying job listings, shelter information, and success stories. Regular customers started leaving message meals, prepaid food vouchers with encouraging notes attached. These simple acts of kindness created a ripple effect throughout the community. Ray's storytelling sessions evolved into a popular podcast called Street Wisdom. Each episode featured conversations with people who had experienced homelessness, focusing not just on their struggles but on their insights about life, resilience, and human connection. The podcast attracted listeners from all walks of life, breaking down stereotypes and building bridges of understanding. The elderly woman's tool lending library expanded to include a skills exchange program. People could borrow tools and equipment, but they were also encouraged to share their knowledge with others. A former mechanic taught basic car maintenance, while a retired teacher offered literacy classes. This exchange of skills helped people maintain their sense of purpose while building valuable community connections. The shop owner's business incubator celebrated its 100th successful launch, a catering company started by 3 former shelter residents who had met during culinary training. Their success inspired them to create an apprenticeship program specifically for people transitioning out of homelessness. They understood that sometimes the best teacher is someone who has walked the same path. The College Students Initiative took an innovative turn when they started a mentorship program pairing homeless youth with university students. These partnerships focused on more than just academics, they helped young people envision a future they might never have considered possible. Several participants went on to receive scholarships, proving that opportunity often just needs a door to walk through. The Street Connect app added a new feature that tracked acts of kindness throughout the community. Users could log both giving and receiving help, creating a visible web of support that encouraged more people to get involved. The data showed something remarkable: those who had received help were often the most active in helping others, creating a sustainable cycle of community support. A breakthrough moment came when a major real estate developer approached the foundation with an unusual proposal. Instead of converting an old hotel into luxury apartments, they wanted to transform it into transitional housing with built-in support services. The project became a model for how private businesses could contribute to solving social issues while maintaining their bottom line. The wellness centers expanded their services to include creative arts therapy. They discovered that giving people a way to express their experiences through art, music, or writing not only aided in emotional healing but also helped bridge the gap between different communities. Art shows featuring works by program participants became popular events, attracting collectors who valued both the art and its story. The Future Fund program introduced a new component focused on entrepreneurship. Participants could pitch business ideas to a panel of successful business owners, who provided not just funding but ongoing mentorship. One particularly successful venture was a mobile laundry service that employed program participants and provided free services to shelters. Shaq's regular involvement took on a new dimension when he started bringing other professional athletes to visit the programs. Many were moved by what they saw and started similar initiatives in their own cities. The foundation created a playbook for replicating their success, emphasizing that the key was not just providing services but building genuine connections. The documentary filmmaker's work revealed an unexpected truth: the most powerful transformations weren't always the most dramatic. Sometimes it was as simple as watching someone regain their smile, or seeing a person stand a little taller after helping someone else. These subtle changes, captured on camera, helped viewers understand that homelessness wasn't just about lacking shelter, it was about losing connection to one's own worth. The Dignity model gained international recognition when a United Nations study highlighted it as an example of effective community-based solutions to social issues. What set it apart was its emphasis on treating people as valuable community members rather than just recipients of aid. This approach had created a self-sustaining ecosystem of support that continued to grow and evolve. As this phase of the program's growth came to a close, Shaq organized a special gathering at the foundation's headquarters. The walls were covered with photos, not just of success stories, but of everyday moments. People sharing meals, learning new skills, helping others, and rebuilding their lives. These images told a story of transformation that went beyond statistics or headlines. They showed how a single day of walking in someone else's shoes had sparked a movement that continued to change lives, one small act of kindness at a time. The foundation's work entered a new phase when a group of high school students visited one of the resource centers. Inspired by what they saw, they approached Shaq with an innovative idea that would change how young people viewed homelessness and community service. They wanted to create a youth ambassador program that would connect students from different schools with the foundation's initiatives. What started as a simple idea quickly grew into a nationwide movement. The students developed a program called Young Voices for Change, where teenagers could learn about social issues firsthand and contribute to solutions. Unlike traditional volunteer programs, this one emphasized building genuine relationships with people experiencing homelessness, learning from their experiences, and working together to create positive change. The hot dog vendor's food truck enterprise became a key partner in this youth initiative. He started offering internships to high school students, teaching them not just about running a business but about serving the community with dignity and respect. These young interns worked alongside program graduates, learning valuable lessons about resilience and second chances that no classroom could provide. Ray's podcast, Street Wisdom, began featuring special episodes where young listeners could call in and ask questions directly to people who had experienced homelessness. These honest, unscripted conversations helped break down barriers and misconceptions that often started in youth. The episodes became so popular that schools began using them as part of their social studies curriculum. The elderly woman who had shared her sandwich with Shaq that first day saw an opportunity to bridge the generation gap. She organized a program called Wisdom Exchange, where senior citizens and homeless individuals could share life experiences with high school students. These sessions often led to unexpected mentorship relationships that benefited everyone involved. The shop owner's business incubator added a special track for young entrepreneurs who wanted to create socially conscious businesses. One success story was a group of teenagers who started a bicycle repair service that employed homeless individuals and provided affordable transportation options for the community. Their business model was so successful that it was replicated in several other cities. The Foundation's technology initiatives took an exciting turn when a group of tech-savvy teenagers developed a virtual reality experience that simulated the challenges faced by homeless individuals. This powerful tool helped create empathy and understanding among people who might never otherwise understand the reality of life on the streets. The simulation became part of corporate training programs and school curricula nationwide. The Street Connect app introduced a youth-focused feature that gamified community service without trivializing the serious nature of homelessness. Young users could earn points for meaningful interactions and contributions, but the real reward was the relationships they built and the impact they made. The system helped teach valuable lessons about social responsibility and community engagement. A breakthrough came when several major universities announced they would consider community service through the Foundation's programs as a significant factor in their admissions process. This decision helped validate the importance of social responsibility and encouraged more young people to get involved in meaningful ways. The wellness centers expanded to include peer support programs where young people could work alongside professional counselors to provide emotional support to those in need. These programs helped break down age barriers and showed that wisdom and compassion could come from any age group. The documentary filmmaker captured a particularly moving moment when a group of high school students organized a talent show at one of the shelters. The event featured performances by both students and shelter residents, showcasing how art and music could bring people together regardless of their circumstances. The footage went viral, inspiring similar events across the country. The Future Fund program created a special initiative for young entrepreneurs who wanted to start businesses that addressed social issues. These young visionaries received mentoring from successful business leaders and program graduates, creating a unique learning environment where different perspectives could combine to create innovative solutions. Shaq's regular visits now included stops at schools and youth centers, where he shared the lessons learned from his day in disguise. But more importantly, he listened to young people's ideas about how to address social issues in their communities. Their fresh perspectives and natural idealism brought new energy to the Foundation's work. The program's success with youth engagement attracted attention from education experts who saw it as a model for teaching social responsibility and emotional intelligence. Schools began incorporating elements of the dignity model into their character education programs, helping students understand the importance of treating all people with respect and compassion. As this phase of the program's evolution unfolded, it became clear that involving young people had done more than just expand the Foundation's reach, it had helped create a new generation of socially conscious leaders. These young people understood that addressing homelessness wasn't just about providing services, but about building a community where everyone had the opportunity to contribute and thrive. One evening, during a community dinner that brought together people from all walks of life, Shaq watched as teenagers served meals alongside program graduates, elderly volunteers shared stories with young activists, and children played with kids from the shelters. The scene reminded him of something Ray had said during one of his podcast episodes: the solution to homelessness isn't just about finding homes, it's about rebuilding the connections that make us all human. As the Foundation's work continued to evolve, an unexpected development brought a new dimension to their efforts. A group of tech industry professionals who had been following the program's success approached Shaq with an ambitious proposal. They wanted to create a nationwide network of smart resource centers that would revolutionize how communities address homelessness. The idea was to combine technology with human compassion in a way that hadn't been done before. These centers would use artificial intelligence to match people with the exact resources they needed while maintaining the personal touch that had made the Foundation's work so successful. The first prototype center opened in Los Angeles, housed in a renovated warehouse that had once been abandoned. The hot dog vendor's food truck network became an integral part of this new initiative. His trucks were equipped with tablets connected to the resource center's database, allowing him and his team to help people access services while sharing a meal. The simple act of breaking bread together continued to break down barriers and create connections. Ray's podcast, Street Wisdom, reached a significant milestone with its millionth download. The show had evolved into a platform where policymakers, business leaders, and community members could engage in meaningful dialogue about social issues. What made the podcast unique was its commitment to keeping the voices of those who had experienced homelessness at the center of every discussion. The Elderly Woman's Wisdom Exchange program expanded to include virtual meetups, allowing seniors and homeless individuals from different cities to connect and share their stories. These digital gatherings proved especially valuable during challenging times, providing emotional support and maintaining human connections when physical meetings weren't possible. The shop owner's business incubator celebrated a remarkable achievement when one of its graduates, a former homeless individual, secured a major contract with a national retail chain. His success story wasn't just about personal achievement. He made sure to hire other program participants and mentor new entrepreneurs, creating a cycle of opportunity and support. The Foundation's wellness centers introduced an innovative approach to mental health support by combining traditional counseling with peer support networks. They created safe spaces where people could share their struggles and victories, supported by both professional therapists and others who had walked similar paths. The Street Connect app underwent a major upgrade that included a feature called Community Champions. This system recognized individuals who consistently helped others, not through monetary contributions, but through acts of kindness, mentorship, and support. The recognition helped build a culture of mutual aid and responsibility. A breakthrough moment came when several major corporations agreed to participate in a Second Chance employment initiative. These companies didn't just offer jobs, they created comprehensive support systems to help new employees succeed. The program's success rate was remarkable, with over 90% of participants maintaining stable employment after 1 year. The documentary filmmakers' work captured a powerful series of then and now moments, showing how people's lives had transformed over time. But what made these stories compelling wasn't just the external changes, it was the restoration of dignity and purpose that shone through in every interview. The Youth Ambassador program expanded to include international exchanges, allowing young people from different countries to share ideas and experiences about addressing homelessness in their communities. These connections led to innovative solutions that combine different cultural approaches to community support. The Foundation's work attracted attention from urban planners and architects who were interested in designing cities that promoted community connection and prevented isolation. They studied how the resource centers and community spaces had helped rebuild social bonds and incorporated these lessons into their designs. Shaq's regular involvement took on a new dimension when he started working with professional sports leagues to create employment pathways for homeless individuals. From maintenance and security to administration and coaching youth programs, these opportunities provided stable income and a chance to be part of a team. The Future Fund program introduced a unique approach to financial education by pairing participants with volunteer financial advisors who provided one-on-one guidance. This personalized support helped people not just manage their money, but plan for long-term stability and growth. The most profound impact of the program became evident in how it changed community attitudes. People who had once hurried past homeless individuals now stopped to talk, listen, and help. The simple act of acknowledging someone's humanity had become contagious, spreading from person to person like ripples in a pond. During a community gathering, one of the original program participants shared a reflection that captured the essence of the Foundation's work. "When I was homeless," he said, "I didn't just lose my home, I lost my place in the world. This program didn't just give me shelter, it gave me back my sense of belonging. And that's something everyone deserves." 2 years after Shaq's initial experiment, the foundation organized a special gathering to reflect on their journey and plan for the future. The event was held in the same downtown area where Shaq had first sat disguised as a homeless person, but the location had transformed beyond recognition. The once empty storefronts now housed thriving businesses, many run by program graduates. The streets that had once felt cold and unwelcoming now buzzed with community energy. The hot dog vendor, whose single cart had grown into a nationwide social enterprise, stood proudly beside his newest food truck. This one was special, designed by program participants and equipped with a mobile kitchen training facility. "Every meal we serve," he told the gathered crowd, "is a chance to change someone's story." His network of food trucks had become more than just businesses, they were rolling symbols of hope and transformation. Ray, whose Street Wisdom podcast had become a global phenomenon, introduced a new initiative called Voice of Change. This platform would allow people experiencing homelessness in different cities to share their stories and connect with resources in real time. "When we first started," Ray reflected, "we were just trying to be heard. Now we're helping others find their voice." The elderly woman who had shared her sandwich with Shaq that first day had inspired a movement of her own. Her simple act of kindness had evolved into a network of senior citizens who mentored people trying to rebuild their lives. "Age is just a number," she often said, "but wisdom and kindness are timeless." Her program had helped bridge generational gaps and create lasting bonds within the community. The shop owner's business incubator had expanded to include a digital marketplace where program graduates could sell their products and services globally. One success story was particularly touching, a former homeless artist whose digital designs now appeared on products worldwide. He used his platform to raise awareness about homelessness while providing opportunities for others to showcase their talents. The foundation's smart resource centers had revolutionized how cities approached homelessness. By combining technology with human compassion, they had created a model that could be replicated anywhere. The centers didn't just provide services, they created communities where everyone had a chance to contribute and grow. The Youth Ambassador program had grown into an international movement, with young people leading initiatives in cities across the globe. Their fresh perspectives and natural ability to connect through social media had helped spread the message of dignity and hope to new audiences. One young ambassador summed it up perfectly: "We're not just helping people find homes, we're helping build a world where everyone belongs." The Street Connect app had evolved into a comprehensive platform that connected people with resources, opportunities, and most importantly, each other. The app's success led to partnerships with major tech companies who provided training and job opportunities in the digital sector. Many program participants who had never used a computer before were now working in technology roles. The documentary filmmaker's work had captured countless moments of transformation, but her most powerful piece was a time-lapse video showing how the community had changed over 2 years. It wasn't just the physical transformations that were striking, it was the way people interacted, the sense of connection that was visible in every frame. The wellness centers had expanded their services to include innovative therapy programs that combined traditional counseling with community support. They had discovered that healing happened fastest when people felt part of something larger than themselves. The centers became places where people could rebuild not just their lives, but their sense of purpose. The Future Fund had grown into a comprehensive financial empowerment program that included everything from basic budgeting to investment strategies. But its most successful component was the Community Investment Trust, which allowed program participants to invest in local development projects. This gave them a stake in their community's future and helped build long-term stability. Shaq's regular involvement had inspired other celebrities and athletes to contribute in meaningful ways. But more importantly, it had shown that real change happens when people from all walks of life work together. His simple experiment had sparked a movement that continued to grow and evolve. As the gathering drew to a close, a group of program graduates unveiled a surprise, a mosaic made from thousands of small photographs. From a distance, it showed the image of Shaq sitting on that piece of cardboard 2 years ago. Up close, each tiny photo told a story of transformation, smiling faces, proud achievements, moments of connection and hope. The Foundation's work had proved something powerful, that homelessness wasn't just about lacking shelter, it was about losing connection to community. By rebuilding these connections, they had created a model for change that worked because it recognized the dignity and potential in every person. In his closing remarks, Shaq shared a reflection that captured the essence of their journey. 2 years ago, I sat on these streets to understand what it feels like to be invisible. Today, we stand together in a community where everyone is seen, heard, and valued. This isn't just about finding homes for people, it's about building a world where everyone has a place to belong. As the sun set on the gathering, the streets filled with music and laughter. Program graduates shared meals with current participants, youth ambassadors exchanged ideas with senior mentors, and children played freely in spaces that had once been avoided. The transformation was complete, not just of the physical space, but of the human spirit that filled it.